For the Stringjoy Show, I am Ryan. We have been around to a lot of really cool guitar and amp shops around the country, and we still have a lot more to come, but I'm home for a little bit now, and so it is my honor and my privilege to show you where I shop. Today we are at El Diablo Amps and Guitars in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is really great to be here, and it is exciting for me to be able to show off my store, because no matter what store you go to, your store is always the coolest store. So it's really exciting for me to be able to show off what you have here. And you've been involved here in Minneapolis in the music retail world for a while. I remember you kind of in my 30s, I believe. You were doing some appointment only, but you were considered to be this boutique amp specialist. And if you wanted a boutique amp in Minneapolis, you were the guy you named them.
My daughter was young then, so I needed a job that was really, really flexible. So what I decided to do was do setups from my apartment, actually. And I had my own collection of amps that I had brought from back east. And a lot of folks would say, hey, what's that amp? And I said, well, hey, you should really try this Sword, or you should really try this Benson, you should try these amps. And that's where it grew. It just grew right from there. I got a small storefront over in St. Louis Park 10 years ago now. And here we are.
Fun fact, El Diablo was the very first Benson amps dealer.
I was a huge, huge fan, I still am, of the Shins. And when I saw them come through town, I'm the kind of nerd who brings like a binocular to big shows just to see what gear they're playing. And I was like, what is that pinstriped amp back there? I couldn't quite tell. And I did some internet detective work, and I was like, Benson. So I decided to reach out, and I sent him an email. This is back like in 2012, 2013. And Chris answered, and he's like, well, I've got this prototype that's out on tour, but it's coming back to me. I'll send it out to you. And he did. And I played it, and I was like, this is incredible. Please send me whatever you have. So he sent me ahead, and I was his first dealer right outside of Portland.
One of the good things I love about this shop, going all the way back to Benson, is I've relied on Alan to show me really cool things that I didn't know existed. Another example right now is Balthazar amps out of Chicago. You introduced them to me.
So one of the things I know is that if you come in here and you see the same gear that you see at any other store, it's just, people aren't going to come by. So I really delight in finding those amp companies and guitar companies that aren't known yet, and I introduce them. I love introducing people to new gear, such as the Balthazar. The Balthazar amps. Balthazar is from Chicago, our neighbor here, and fantabulous amp.
Why don't you introduce me to some gear?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'd love to. We have a really bright and vibrant community here in the Twin Cities, and one of the things that I love doing is just bringing them to light. For example, our good friend Andy Weber.
Yeah.
That's an Andromeda Elite that you have there. Some of the best inlay work that I've seen yet. It's a fir top, mahogany body, Righteous Sound pickups. Semi-hollow Andromeda Elite. Absolutely beautiful. It's a work of art from top to bottom.
You guys have been selling these guitars for a while. You guys have had a long-term relationship with them.
Absolutely. I was really excited to sell one of his first guitars here, and since then we've sold every single guitar that he's brought by. He's grown well beyond the bounds of this store. He's now national, and he's got a waiting list. So it's a great success story. This is a Ron Tracy. Look at that. This is, it looks like a Telecaster, but it's actually smaller, and it has a Gibson scale.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's a chambered body, so it weighs very little. Deep V-neck on that one.
Yeah, this is wild. It's almost like an optical illusion, because it's like this telly, but then you pick it up and you're like, is it? Where's Ron Tracy from?
Ron Tracy's a St. Paul native, so his St. Paul guitar repair, he's been repairing. He used to work at Hoffman's, of course.
Wow.
Right?
Cool.
One of the newer guys that we're carrying here at the store is Adam Myers, Mill City Lutherie. Oh, look at that beauty. That mahogany.
Wow.
Top.
That is some wood.
That is some figurine wood.
Oh my gosh, and just three-piece neck, beautiful.
Yeah, Adam worked at Brown's Guitar Factory for about 20 years.
Okay.
Yep, and just started, He builds incredible guitars that are his attention to detail.
Also, going back to the Benson, you've introduced me to some really cool amp companies, and I see one here that I am not familiar with. So tell me about Tonetron amps.
We're super excited to work with Jeff Falla, who builds Tonetron amps here in Minneapolis. This is a hand-wired 10-inch speaker combo that is his own design. So he's modified some tweed basics and then kind of spiced in a little bit of blackface in there as well. But I'll tell you what, it's super touch sensitive and beautifully voiced. It's just a joy to play. You know those amps that sort of, just bring a smile to your face? It's small, but it packs a punch. It's our best-selling amp, actually. Really? It is. Yep. Cool. Yep.
What's your favorite guitar that you have at home? What are you reaching for the most right now?
I have a 63 Fender Custom Shop Custom Telly, and it's, I think it's the love of my life. It's such a beautiful guitar.
Under the Radar Pedal Company.
Oh, Farm. That's an easy one. Yeah, Farm Pedals.
Farm Pedals.
Yeah,
Great.
Jeff from Maine.
Yeah, that's cool. Here we go. Digital or analog delay?
Oh boy. It's funny. 5 years ago, I would have had a different answer. In today's world, I'd personally play analog, but I think that the digital delays are really, really catching up, and they sound amazing. I just recently went to King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Damn it! Lizard Wizard. I just recently went to a King. Oh, hold on. I just recently went to a King.
Wait, which one comes first?
Lizard. Okay. No. I just recently went to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
You've been through a couple of locations, and I have been to all of them, I believe. But one thing, no matter where you go, stays the same, is that this is a place to hang out. And it's a place that you feel really comfortable when you walk in the door. There are couches. You rescued a record store. And so for a long time in the back there was a record store. So you would come here and you would listen to music and look at records and drink coffee or beer or whatever and hang out and play guitars. And I don't know how you make any money.
It's funny because when I was a kid, I'm sure you did the same, I used to hang out at the music store, of course, right? And you wouldn't have enough money to buy much except for a set of strings, or maybe you page through the magazine, but you just sit there for hours because you wanted to soak it all up, right? And that's the memory that I wanted to recreate, a place that you could come and just be at, right? And hang out with other musicians, because sometimes, there's nobody around you who will speak that same language or who has that same passion and love, right? So there's two things that I'd love to do at my store, and the first one is just to welcome you. A place where you feel welcome, right? Hey, how are you? And then the second part of it is, hey, look at this gear. And then the third part of it is, why don't you come hang, sit on the couch? Yeah.
You can lose several hours here very easily. You guys host a lot of really, really cool events, and I even got to see, I believe I got to see a presentation of the Mood, which it was only half designed long before it was even released, and that was here at a pedal event. You're always pulling people in.
Absolutely. So, doing events is one of the funnest things that we can do, and it gets us out of our normal, the daily just routine of having a shop. But we do an event called Meet the Builders, where we feature folks like Andy and Adam and Joel from Chase Bliss, and anybody local. They're invited to come down. They have a little table, and folks come in and they chat with the builders. It's a really great event, and it builds that community like we talked about before. We also do other great events like pedal swaps are super popular, where everyone just brings whatever pedals they're not using, and they just, it's like an old-time swap meet, and they swap out with other folks. No money, just swapping. It's great fun. And we also do Fuzzapalooza, which is a celebration of fuzz. Yeah, I know, it's great. Everyone, we build a collection of fuzz pedals here, and then other folks contribute with their own fuzz pedals, and then it's a day of just fuzzy goodness. Folks, compete sometimes for best riff. That's a competition we did last year. So we look forward to Fuzzapalooza again.
And speaking of fuzz, you guys have your own fuzz. This is actually a version 1.2 because the previous version you guys sold out of, and now it's kind of a real rarity that people are spending big bucks on. And I bet you never expected that, right?
Yeah, so we released the Heck One, honestly, as a pet project, right? We thought we'd sell it to family and friends, and we just did it to have fun. We only made 40 of them, and they disappeared right away. And little did we know that years later it'd be featured in the pedal book, right? So we decided to revisit the concept a couple years later, and we built the HEC 1.2. We only made about 50, but we have so many folks, months after month, sending us emails or giving us a call, asking for another one that there's a chance that they might come out again.
There's a chance that supply might meet demand.
Oh yeah, there's
All
a
right,
chance.
very cool. Yeah, I actually did a demo of this. It's perfect. It is gnarly and untamable, and that's what makes it awesome. In addition to guitars and amps that you have taught me about, you've also introduced me to a lot of pedals, which as a pedal demoer is pretty humbling, but you have a cool collection of small builders.
Yeah, it's another thing that we work really, really hard to do. There are so many, we're in the golden age of pedals. We really are, and there's so many pedal makers. And so what we try to do is we play a lot of pedals, and the good ones we call and say, hey, you're not in Minnesota yet, why don't you come on over, right? So things like King Tone, right? Jesse Davis stuff is amazing. Great pedals, and Union Tube and Transistors from East Vancouver, British Columbia. We have Fairfield, Guillaume from Montreal, Cornerstone, from Italy. Incredible pedals.
Yeah.
So we Jam, of course. We should mention Jam from Greece. Game Changer from Latvia. So we scour the world looking for some really innovative and careful, folks who take pride in their work and are very careful in the construction of their pedals.
Yeah. So in addition to being the first Benson dealer outside of Portland, you hold a very distinctive place in the world of Stringjoy, and it's that you are El Diablo is the #1 Stringjoy dealer in this state.
Sometimes a product just speaks for itself, right? And these Stringjoys, the way that they play, the feel under your fingers, the way that the harmonics ring out, how long they last, we did exactly what we do, which is just tell everybody, hey, take these strings. If you don't like them, bring them back, right? Yeah. Here, take these strings. And of course, people came back and they would buy 2-3 sets, right? Yeah. And so we started with the basic sets, but now we've grown into having the acoustic sets, and we're super excited about the new coated electrics that are about to come out.
I see them up there. They're already here.
Yeah, I can't wait to put some on my own guitar.
So Alan, thank you, man. Thank you for letting me in the shop early before it opened and kind of giving me some free reign to get out and try stuff, which is pretty much like I'd say this during business hours anyways here. But thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy. You got lots of stuff going on here and lots of amazing gear, and I just appreciate being here.
Oh, Ryan, thanks. It's so great to see you. Anytime, come on by.